There always comes a time in a young man's life, or an old man's life, or anybody's life in general, that you have to admit that you were wrong. You have to admit that maybe you have jumped the gun a little bit and said, you know what, maybe such and such player is not very good because of this, this, and this. And now you have to come back and say, I am wrong because this person is starting to excel and look good. But, ladies and gentlemen, today is not that day. Today is not that day. You guys have been on me about this Lamar Jackson. He's doing great. Yes, he is performing at a very high level right now. He has thrown for what? 700-800 yards in 3 games, rushed for a couple hundred. Yes, he is doing very, very good right now. My dogging of Lamar Jackson has not come because of the regular season. My dogging of Lamar Jackson has because of what he has done on the field during regular season, or even off the field. He's a great person off the field. It is the simple fact that you, Baltimore Ravens fans, put Lamar Jackson up on this pedestal before he even set foot into the NFL. You guys, Baltimore Ravens fans, said this is the greatest guy since sliced bread. This guy is going to do this, this, and this, and just run the world. Since then, he's had one playoff win. Since then, he has shit the bed in January, hasn't even played in February. So, when Lamar Jackson got drafted in that first round a couple years ago, this is his fourth year, right? He has done nothing in the postseason. Lamar Jackson is trash. He will always be trash and forever will be trash because he will never win a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. He won't even win another playoff game with the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Look what he has around him. He doesn't make anybody else on his team better. He makes himself pretty damn good. Nobody else around him does he make good. Did he make Hollywood Brown better? No. Does he make that tight end better? What's his name? No. You guys can say what you want. Lamar Jackson is trash. But there comes a time when you have to admit that you are wrong. And when that day comes, I will admit that I was wrong about Lamar Jackson. But until then, he's trash. Combsy, cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Sure to have it on manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page and check out the blog section as well. Joey, send me your address and I'll get you a shirt and hoodie mailed ASAP, my man. So send me that address, Joey, on the old DMs right now. I'll get your hoodie mailed out to you, man, and size. I forgot to ask you your size. I know it's extra small like Isaac Hatfield wears when he's snapping that long ball on the field versus the Kentucky Wildcats last Saturday. Big shout out to Isaac Hatfield, future long snapper of the Kansas City Chiefs and Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs. He says shout out to the NIU Huskies. They did go battle. Why won't my thing pop up? There it is. They went to battle with the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. I thought you guys had them, like honestly, but playing that freshman quarterback and doing some other things that were kind of controversial, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not your coach, but I was secretly hoping you guys would go 3 and out a lot of the time so I could see those snaps. But it is what it is. I see my man Alpha Rob in the chat. What's up, Alpha Rob? What is going on tonight? I see my man Joey, Mr. Moderator himself. So you guys better keep your P's and Q's in line, or Joey will give you the old kabika caboodle. Actually, no, he'll probably talk more shit than the most of us. But it is Monday, guys. So right here on the old Monday Man Hour, we do way or no way. It is pretty cut and dry. It is cut and dry. You guys ask a question, and I say if it's way or if it's a no way. I got 4 written down right here. If you guys want to jump in the chat and ask a way or no way, feel free to do so. I see you guys dogging me all ready to start the show. I love it. Isaac Hatfield says, "Go Ravens." What did it do that for? I have to go back to the old school way here. Isaac Hatfield is coming. Yo. There we go. Go Ravens, Buck. The Ravens can do all they want, ladies and gentlemen. They can go 17-0 for all I care. They're still a first-round exit in the playoffs. The first-round exit in the playoffs. When I say first-round exit, that means the first game that they play. Obviously, if they give 17-0, they'll get the bye, but they can't go 17-0. But let's say they go 16-1, right? They'll get the bye. I mean, they'll still lose their first-round game. I'm keeping the receipts, Buck. I wouldn't have it any other way. Hold me to it. I don't care. 12 touchdowns in 3 games. Congratulations. Congratulations. He also has 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Like 5 touchdowns each game. I mean, he is definitely on a terrific tear, Isaac. Like, I agree. He is doing well. He could probably win another MVP if he keeps up the pace. Well, he wouldn't win the MVP if he kept up the pace. But the truth of the matter is, win in January, my man. Win in January, then come at me. How about that? Tua Tagovailoa. How you say his name? Tua. I forgot about the Tua. Should he have come back from that concussion? I don't know. With the way we're working nowadays, who knows? Who knows? First way or whoa, no way of the night, Joey. We'll jump right in there. We don't get into a lot of college football talk, but let's get into it. Joey says, way or no way, Deion Sanders should be the next coach of Louisville football. No way. Absolutely no way. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, as he likes to call himself, the only reason why he is succeeding at Jackson State or wherever he is that right, is because there is no expectations there at all. There is no expectations for Coach Prime to win at Jackson State. That is why they are being successful. When you start getting success and they expect you to be successful, then come at me. Then come at me when Coach Prime can actually live up to his expectation. This is his second year as a coach or first year? This is his second year because the first year he was in the wheelchair like all year, right? So this is his second year as a coach. I don't care if they put him in the FCS playoffs or not. It's the FCS. It doesn't matter to me. There is no expectations there whatsoever. When you get to Louisville, what do you expect when you have a Coach Prime come to Louisville? You start to expect all these 5-star recruits coming to town. You expect all these, national championships and this and this. That's not going to happen. Sorry, Louisville fans. I know you guys are out there, but you guys are dog shit trash. You guys are terrible. The only reason why you guys had any ounce of success when Bobby Petrino was here is because of Lamar Jackson. Of course, Teddy Bridgewater as well. But since then, you have not been able to duplicate that because nobody wants to come to this trash hole town. Call a spade a spade. Louisville was a trash hole town. They have a trash hole stadium that they just rebuilt and put like $20 million into. Cool. You can't even put fans in stands because nobody wants to go down to that side of town. Deion Sanders to Louisville would be the stupidest thing in the world. Not only because Coach Prime would fail, he would ask for an astronomical amount of price, which would be something that Louisville cannot afford right now because of, they're still paying off hookers and basketball players and whatever else, right? They need a coach that is going to come in here and actually change the culture, and that the ADs have to buy into. Satterfield, I think, was a great hire. I loved when Satterfield was there. Isaac, I believe it was your junior or sophomore year in high school when Satterfield came there, and I actually had to have a conversation with him, and he is great. Like he is a great X's and O's coach. He motivated me just by talking to him, and he's a well-rounded coach. The athletic director doesn't want him there. The community doesn't want him here for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe because his first year there, he basically kicked every senior off of the team. Maybe because he didn't offer the Wake Forest guy a scholarship, and then the next year he scored like 5 touchdowns on him. I don't know. For whatever reason, Louisville isn't sold on winning. The only way Louisville is going to ever be in competition again, any way, shape, or form, is if they actually bring in a coach and an athletic director that is, I hate to say it, built the blueprint like Kentucky did. When Coach Stoops came into town, his first 3 years there, he says, if you guys want to win, we need to build a brand new facility, a state-of-the-art facility. Kentucky bought into it. They're like, yes, we want a good football program. What is Kentucky doing now? Year in and year out, they're getting 9 to 10 to 11 wins. They have won 4 bowl games in a row. They've beaten Florida twice in 4 years, right? First time ever since like 1980s or something crazy. Coach Prime would not be able to do that. I think Coach Prime has too big of an ego to come to a school like Louisville to try to build a program. I said it. So no way Coach Prime will ever be the next coach of the Louisville Cardinals. It's probably going to be somebody like some no-name guy that they throw a ton of money to. I don't know. Who is that Trinity coach that used to be the quarterback for Louisville back in the day? You guys know who I'm talking about. Anyways, I see you guys talking shit in the chat. I love it. Joey says it was 80% packed versus Florida State. Cool. 80% packed. So that means it was 20% empty. You might think, look at the glass of the half full. I think of it half empty. It was 20% empty. You were playing a conference team. A team like Florida State. I believe it was a Friday night game, if I'm not mistaken, right? What else is there to do in Louisville on Friday night besides go to a Trinity St. X game? Are you telling me that Trinity and St. X had more people at their game than they did the Louisville-Florida State game? Spoiler alert, they did. Spoiler alert, Trinity and St. X sold out Papa John Stadium. That's the stadium that Louisville Cardinals play at. High school teams sold out Papa John Stadium. Louisville Cardinals versus Florida State had an 80% full. Tell me where their priorities are at. I'll wait. I will wait. Exactly. More worried about making that almighty dollar than winning. But hey, winning gets you money. Now, on to the way or no ways of the night. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. AFC North team here. Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow got their first win of the season, putting them 1-2 on the season. This is Joe Burrow's first win since losing his appendix. He is no longer winless without his appendix. But 1 and 2 teams only have a 25% chance of making the playoffs. 25% chance of making the playoffs. This is the same team that got hot last year. They were 10-7. Happened to get hot at the right time versus Kansas City Chiefs, put like 500 yards against them, right? Had a great game. Carried that into the playoffs versus they played the Raiders first, right? and the Titans, and then they beat the Chiefs, and then went into the Super Bowl and they lost. Super Bowl hangover is real. So way or no way, the Cincinnati Bengals will miss the playoffs. So I got to thinking here, and I was looking at their stats for the 2021 NFL season. In 2021, in the games that they won, they threw under 250 yards. In the games that they lost in 2021, they threw for over 290 yards. Is that a correlation? Sit back and buckle the seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. This year in 2022, and the 2 games that they have lost, they have thrown the ball over 300 yards in the game. The game that they won last week, he threw for under 250. So what does that tell you that they're doing? They're throwing the ball way too much. They're trying to get Jamar Chase involved way too much. Cincinnati Bengals need to roll back the tide a little bit, start running the ball, give it to Mixon. I got him on my fantasy team, so give the ball to Mixon. And the answer to that question is way. The Cincinnati Bengals will miss the playoffs in 2022. Not because they're not a good team, because they got off to a slow start in the AFC. You cannot get off to a slow start. Look at their division alone. The Ravens are looking damn good right now. Yes, they lost a tough game to Miami 2 weeks ago, but they flexed on the Patriots last night, right? The Steelers starting to come back around a little bit. The Browns, surprise, they're still not bad. If Jacoby Brissett can hang on just for a little bit longer, before we knew it, Deshaun Watson will be there, a top 5 quarterback in himself. Hell, the Bengals may not even get out of the cellar of their own division. They are not making the playoffs whatsoever. That is 100% way on that. They are not making the playoffs in 2022. I pushed the wrong button. Jesus. Almost lost in MAC action. NIU versus Louisville. Don't forget you, Buck. NIU versus Louisville. Forget who you got, Buck. I'm confused by that. You think I'm making money funny? Making funny money? Oh, NIU versus Louisville. Who do you got? I'll take NIU over Louisville. You guys did some good stuff, Isaac. I ain't gonna lie. I sat there and watched. I was like, damn. Forgot who the freshman quarterback was, but he has some good stuff happening. I believe it was like his first start or something. I can't remember. I don't follow you guys as close as I should, but I definitely read the surface notes and watch the game a little bit. Moving on. San Francisco 49ers lost last night to the Denver Broncos 10-11. Quite the barn burner themselves in that game there. Trey Lance is out for the season. Jimmy G got his first start of the season and the first loss of the season, unfortunately. So way or no way are the San Francisco 49ers going to make the playoffs. This is another 1-2 team that we have out there on the field. And like I said, 25% of the teams that go 1-2 to start the season do make the playoffs. However, the San Francisco 49ers are a different team with Jimmy G in there. They are a great team with Jimmy G in there. They just happen to get the Denver Broncos on a good night. That defense was clicking for the Denver Broncos all night. And Mile High Stadium is a tough place to play. When you go from sea level to Mile High, it is hard to run and cut and do all that stuff and just breathe. A smart coach, which Kyle Shanahan is not, would have got there a couple days early to acclimate yourself to the altitude. But hey, fly in the day of and whatever, yada, yada, yada. But hey, I'm not an NFL coach, but I just play one on TV. So way or no way the San Francisco 49ers will make the playoffs. The answer to that question is way. The San Francisco 49ers will make the playoffs, and they will win the NFC West this year. The 49ers with Jimmy G are a damn good team. They are a Super Bowl caliber team. Hell, they might even go to the Super Bowl if they don't run into the Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. Actually, I take that back. Aren't the 49ers, Jimmy G, undefeated versus the Packers in their playoffs? Could be. I'm just saying. It is what it is. But The 49ers are damn good with Jimmy G. With Trey Lance, they're barely a 400 team, maybe 7-10, 6-11, that type of thing. So yes, Wade, they will make the playoffs with Jimmy G at the helm. I'm not worried about this 1-2 start. We are technically 0-1 with Jimmy G, which is fine. I mean, well, actually 1-1. I guess he did play damn near the whole game versus the Seahawks, right? So they are 1-1 with Jimmy G, right where they need to be, right in striking distance, because the rest of the NFC West is not very good. They're not very good. The Rams are still the Rams, right? They'll still be there in the end, but they're kind of struggling right now. Maybe they find their groove a little bit last night or last weekend versus the Cardinals. Cardinals are trash. Seahawks are trash. 49ers they're right there. They will make the playoffs. I do like their chances. I like them a lot. I keep pushing the wrong button. Joey, I like your question there, man. Way or no way? Jimmy G is ass. Well, Mr. Joey, Jimmy G is not ass. That is a complete no way on that aspect. Jimmy G is not ass. Jimmy G is much like Lamar Jackson during the regular season. Pretty damn good quarterback. However, that translates to the playoffs. Now, I know you stat gurus are all out there saying, oh, he's only thrown 60% of his passes during this, and this, only can 400 passing yards, 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, like whatever, right? I get it. But on the flip side of the coin, Kyle Shanahan has shit the bed when the time matters. Let's flash back to the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is Kansas City Chiefs' first Super Bowl in 50 years or whatever it was. Patrick Mahomes' second year as a starting quarterback, third year in the league. The 49ers legit had the Kansas City Chiefs on the ropes. They were running the ball. They were nickel and dime down the field. Kansas City Chiefs scored back-to-back touchdowns. We're getting a little hot. I think it was like a tied score. Maybe 49ers had like a 3 or 4-point lead. All of a sudden, Kyle Shanahan's like, hey, we need to go point for point for this. That's not the type of quarterback Jimmy G is. Jimmy G is a game manager, nickel and dime it down the field, hand the ball off, and I will not lose you the game. I will manage the game and manage a win for us. Will I go out there and win a game? No. Will I lose a game? No. But you put me in the right positions, we will not get our asses beat like we did versus Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So Jimmy G is not ass whatsoever. He's the best quarterback in the NFC West. Jimmy G is the best quarterback in the NFC West. Joey says, let's talk about the Jags. Let's talk about those Jaguars. Let me pull up their record. Let me pull up their stats. He wants a way or no way about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if you guys are following us on Facebook or Instagram, I posted all of the scores up. And in our AFC South Trash Talk group, I posted the Jaguars score as they did beat the Chargers, right, on Sunday. They beat them 38-10, I believe what the score was. Granted, the Chargers were injury plagued with Herbert with the broken ribs. Bosa was out. I believe Mike Williams was out as well, or at least hobbled. So when I posted the score in the AFC Trash Talk group, one of the fans said, "This is our year." Speaking for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I said, when you say this is our year, like, what do you mean? Like playoff bound, AFC South championship? What do you mean by that? And that fan said Super Bowl. He said Super Bowl. So I sit back, gather my thoughts. I'm like, damn, can the Jacksonville Jaguars make the Super Bowl? So, way or no way for my man Joey, way or no way the Jacksonville Jaguars will make the playoffs. Let's just start there. Where no way Jacksonville Jaguars will make the playoffs. Right now, they're sitting at 2-1, first in the AFC South. The AFC South that is kind of questionable right now. They got the Colts that just got their first win over the weekend versus Kansas City Chiefs. Are they back? We'll discuss that tomorrow with Combs. We got the Texans that are not terrible, but they're winless, right? And then the Titans, we are kind of confused by that. What are they really doing there, right? Titans, they did beat the Raiders over the weekend as well, 24-22 if I'm not mistaken. But look at that Jacksonville Jaguars schedule moving forward. Next week, October 2nd, they travel to Philly to take on the Eagles. That's probably a loss. Then they got the Texans, Colts, Giants, Broncos, and Raiders all back-to-back weeks. Those are five possible wins. Now, the Giants are not terrible. Giants are back. The Broncos game is in London. And then the Raiders are just kind of the Raiders. The Raiders are the only undefeated team, or only winless team in the NFL. Then you're at Arrowhead, and then you got so let's say, I think they're going to lose to Philly. They'll probably beat the Texans. They'll beat the Colts. They'll beat the Giants. I think they'll beat the Broncos. They'll lose to the Raiders. So there's 2 losses on the season. They'll lose to the Chiefs. There's 3. They'll lose to the Ravens. There's 4. And then I think they'll lose to the Lions and Titans as well. So right there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 losses, 5 losses in a row. And then they got the Cowboys, Jets, Texans, and Tennessee again. So right now we're sitting at 6 losses on the season, giving us the last 4 games of the season. And if they can split those games between the Jets, Houston, Dallas, and the Tennessee Titans, I think they are a playoff-bound team, because that will give them 9-8 record. And depending on how things fall, I think that will get them into a wild card berth, if not the AFC South championship, because I think the South is pretty weak. But so I'm going to go with way. I think they will make the playoffs. But I want to go back to this fan's statement. This year is our year, as that fan said. This year is our year for the Jacksonville Jaguars, as in a Super Bowl caliber run. They are not there yet. I'm going to go with no way on that one. I think Alpha Rob said no way as well. I got to throw back up in the chat. Yeah, so Alpha Rob says Super Bowl, no way. I agree with you, because I think the AFC is just a little too bit loaded and a little bit, top heavy for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make that worst to first type of jump like the Cincinnati Bengals did last year. Now, is it out of the question? Nah, not at all. We saw it with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. They got hot at the right time, and they made a good playoff push. However, this middle part of the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule, Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, Titans, Cowboys, Jets. Yes, even the Jets are looking good right now. They're 2-1 as well. Yes, they lost to the Ravens. Or no, who they lose to? The Browns, right? No, the Bengals. I mean, if you can survive that and not lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row, and maybe go 500, that might give you the momentum going into that Jets, Houston, Tennessee game to end the year to make a good playoff push. I just don't see them getting hot in those last 3 games of the season, because you're on the road versus the Jets. You're on the road versus the Houston Texans, and then you have a division foe in the Tennessee Titans coming into Jacksonville. I just don't see them getting hot at the right time to make that deep playoff push. So I'm going to say no way on the Super Bowl. Now, I'm starting to like the Jacksonville Jaguars, to be honest. If I was a betting man, and I think the odds are like 1 in 900 for them to make the playoffs or Super Bowl, I am probably going to jump on that bet if it's still, odds are staggeringly high. I'm going to have to go through my playoff predictor and actually figure it out, right? Go game by game again, which I should probably do that probably next week to give a solid statement on that, But playoffs, yes. Super Bowl, absolutely not. So, Joey, hopefully that answered your way or no way, kind of did it off the cuff there, as I always do, because this is live, raw, and uncut. We do what we want here, man. We do what we want. So speaking of doing what we want, the NFL is doing what they want all the time here. And they have officially said no more Pro Bowl. Me and Combs sat here the last 2 years right here on Man Hour and said you guys how bad the Pro Bowl is. What they needed to do for the Pro Bowl is just have a skills competition, just like the NBA does. Yes, they have a game or whatever you want, but they have like a 3-point competition, dribbling, yada, yada, yada. What does the Pro Bowl do? They tuned into the Man Hour. They listened to Buck. They listened to Combs. And they said, you know what? We're going to take your idea and we're going to have a week-long skills competition in Las Vegas for the Pro Bowl. We're going to have a Pro Bowl week skills competition. So way or no way, Man Hour should be compensated for this step. Absolutely way. Absolutely way. You guys legit took the words, my idea out of my brain from last season, hell, the last 2 seasons, and said, this is what you need to do. And that's exactly what you guys need to do. NFL has finally listened to his fans, finally listened to the best damn sports show on the planet, and we got it, guys. We finally have a skills competition in the NFL. We finally have the throwing of the ball, the 40-yard dash. I don't know what the skills competition is going to consist of. Maybe a bench press off. That would be badass, wouldn't it? I mean, we've seen Saquon Barkley squat like 600 pounds. Let's have a freaking squat off, man. Throw some thousand pounds up there. Do some Wilks scores. So Tyreek Hill, since they're not making the Super Bowl, let him throw some weight around that. That'd be fun to watch. But Pro Bowl is officially out. Pro Bowl Skill Week is officially in. Let me know if you guys are excited about that in the comments below. I'll be really curious to see if you guys are, buying into this skills competition. Because first, let's just be honest. The Pro Bowl alone was just complete trash. I'd rather watch flag football and 5-year-olds than that freaking Pro Bowl. And at least the 5-year-olds give a damn. I'm just saying. Alpha Rob comes in with the way or no way. Way or no way, Buck. The Chargers will make the playoffs. So I actually have this as a way or no way, Rob. I think we're on the same wavelength here. As you guys know, the Chargers are kind of riddled with injuries right now. Justin Herbert is out with those. Well, he is not out. He is very injured with those ribs. Joey Bosa is out for a couple more weeks, and of course they have a lot more receivers out as well. But the Chargers have officially dropped 2 in a row versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football 2 weeks ago when Justin Herbert did get hurt, and they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars 38-10 after a Week 1 win over the Raiders, making them 1-2 on the season. Been saying that all night. This is a common theme. 1 and 2 teams have a 25% chance of making the playoffs. And if we're doing rules by average here, laws of average, I guess I should say, this will be the 4th team. And I already had a team make it to the playoffs that is 1 and 2. So, no way. No way. I do not think the Los Angeles Chargers make the playoffs this year because of exactly what I just said about, who do we say about that? I can't remember who. But they're off to a slow start. You cannot barely win versus the Raiders in Week 1, a winless Raiders team that's not very good right now, and expect that one win to carry you on when you travel to Houston. Houston Texans are a good team. They haven't won yet, but they're a good team. They are right there. Then they got to travel to Cleveland Browns the next week. A surprisingly really good team right now without their star quarterback, Deshaun Watson. So no way the Los Angeles Chargers are going to the playoffs. I think they lose to the Houston. I think they lose to the Browns. I think they beat Denver. So there's one more win. So there's 2 wins on the season. I think they beat Seattle. They lose to Atlanta. They lose to the 49ers. They lose to the Chiefs. They might beat the Cardinals, depending on how the Cardinals are at that point in time. They lose to the Raiders. They lose to Miami. They beat Tennessee. They beat the Colts. And they beat Denver last game of the season. So that's only 6 or 7 wins. That is not playoff quality. The AFC is not going to have a losing record team make the playoffs, at least not this year. So no way, Alpha Rob, that the Los Angeles Chargers make the playoffs, because that injury came at the wrong time for them. The Justin Herbert injury is definitely going to hurt them in the end. So you guys know how earlier in the show, like what I said, sometimes you have to admit when you're wrong. Well, I have to admit that I was wrong. Last week, I said that the Chargers were a good enough team to survive without Justin Herbert, and they should have sat him versus the Jaguars and versus the Houston Texans, and I think they would be just fine. Well, I was absolutely wrong. Now, I do know they have other injuries that piled up, but Herbert is the main injury, and Herbert did not play very, very well, so therefore it rendered him, and so I have to renege on what I said. I said they were fine with Herbert, like sitting out the next two weeks. He needs to be at least 80% in there. Alpha Rob said they absolutely stole your idea like Calvin Klein stole Kramer's idea. Hell yeah. I mean, I guess it's a clothing, because I know Calvin Klein is a clothing, but I don't know who Kramer is. Like Kramer from Seinfeld? I don't know. Next way or no way of the night. The final way or no way of the night, unless you guys have something else to pop up. Getting ready to start off some Monday Night Football, so if you are getting ready to tune into the game, definitely tune into that. The Dallas Cowboys. Come on, Cowboys hat right there. Taking on the New York Giants. Battle for second place in the NFC East. Should be a pretty good game. Speaking of the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles, I always have trouble saying that word. Philadelphia Eagles get to 3-0 on the season. 3-0 on the season. Way or no way, the Philadelphia Eagles are the real deal, and they will make the Super Bowl. Wow. So, the last time the Philadelphia Eagles started the season off 3-0, they actually ended up missing the playoffs, and the Dallas Cowboys won the division and actually won 2 playoff games. So let that sink in a little bit. I am a firm believer of history always repeats itself, right? And somehow, some way, history always repeats itself. So, but let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Last 2 weeks, they've given up 7 points versus the Minnesota Vikings. A damn good Minnesota Vikings team. I believe Combsy had them in their 7th in his power rankings, if I'm not mistaken, last week. Maybe 6th. They held JJ to nothing, right? I mean, they dominated that game. Week 3 versus the Commanders, they only allowed 8 points. So they've given up 7 and 8 points the last 2 weeks, respectively. Now, week 1, they gave up 35 points to the Detroit Lions, which in hindsight, that's going to be a pretty good game, because the Lions are going to be a pretty good team. They're putting up some points. Their offense is looking pretty damn good. So are they for real at 3-0, and are they going to make the Super Bowl? Wow. I'm going to go with no way. No freaking way. Yes, I know Jalen Hurts is throwing for over 300 yards a game. Yes, I know he's having 70% completion percentage. Yes, I know they're running the ball at 150 yards a game. It's still early in the season. We got a lot of football to play still. What happened just a couple years ago when the Miami Dolphins got super hot? Their offense was off the chain. They were doing great. They were up and down the field, couldn't be stopped. What happened? Defenses learn your tendencies. Not the Miami Dolphins, the Arizona Cardinals. The defenses know your tendencies. Last year alone, the Arizona Cardinals were flexing on people. The scoreboard showed them dominating, but if you look in the game, between the stats, you saw that the cracks were showing. I called it. I told you the cracks were showing and nobody believed me. What'd they do? They lost 6 games in a row in a first-round playoff exit. Yes, I know they played the Rams, whatever. It doesn't matter. They lost in the first round, their first game in the playoffs. So am I saying that the Eagles are going to do the same? No, I am not saying they're going to do the same. But I do not trust their defense. Alpha Rob says, no way, don't trust Jalen Hurts yet. I'm starting to trust Hurts. He's doing well. I don't trust the defense. Why? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you this is why I don't like the defense. I have to watch some more tape. I'll break it down to tomorrow live here on like on the air. But I just don't like the defense. Yes, I know they gave up 7 points to the Vikings and 8 points to the Commanders. But they did give up 35 points to the Detroit Lions. I am kind of waffling around that answer because I said the Lions are going to have a good offense. But still, 35 points week 1. That's usually his historically when offenses struggle is week 1. But I don't know. But no way they're making the Super Bowl. I'm not buying it. Next way or no way, like on the night, we'll jump into the chat here. Get everything queued up here. Alpha Rob comes out and says, way or no way? Can the Bills get healthy and dominate again? Well, Alpha Rob, we know you are a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and technically the Buffalo Bills, they lost to the Miami Dolphins yesterday was 21-19, right? Now, I do know they had some players out. They had Micah Hyde with the neck injury that I think that's like Thursday, I think it was, when he was out. They had cramping issues, yada, yada, yada. I get it. They were basically playing their second string. But they still had Stephon Diggs out there. They still had Von Miller. They still had Josh Allen. So to say if they get healthy, I don't know if healthy is the correct term because you will never be healthy again in an NFL season. The healthiest you are is week 1, 9 times out of 10. But to say they will dominate again, when you say dominate, do we need, are we talking about how they week 1 when they dominated the Los Angeles Rams? I think the Rams just had a bad game. And the Tennessee Titans are just not very good. But as far as dominating fashion, I don't see them really dominating any games for the rest of the season. They play the Baltimore Ravens next week at Baltimore. Pretty good defense, and they're going to go toe to toe with the fairly potent Lamar Jackson in the regular season. Steelers, I think TJ Watt's supposed to be back that week. You guys might dominate the Kansas City Chiefs in mid-October, but other than that, I don't really see a lot of dominating factors moving forward unless it's the Chicago Bears. So this is basically overreaction Monday, right? Because wasn't just last week we were talking about how the Buffalo Bills could be the most dominant and best team ever in the NFL, and then they lose one game to the Miami Dolphins 21-19 when they're cramping. They lost their star safety 2 days before the game. And now all of a sudden saying they won't dominate again for the rest of the year. But yeah. It is crazy how the NFL has such mood swings, and right now I don't see them dominating the way they played Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. So I'm going to go with no way on this. I don't see them, for one, I don't see them getting completely healthy ever again. They will be basically trying to figure themselves out how to, fix stuff for the rest of the season. And I don't like the way their OC reacted toward the end of the game. Like, he had a complete meltdown at the end of that game. I saw a video of him like tearing his playbook apart and throwing stuff, and like, why? Dude, it's one loss. Like, yes, I understand game management, yada, yada, yada. Like, I get it, but damn. You cannot let your emotions as a coach get to you just like that. So I think there's a little bit of in-house fighting happening, maybe. I don't know, but dominating is a very powerful word there, and I don't see them dominating for the rest of the season. So for Rob, no. My guy Frazier playing a 3-man rush on a 3rd and long never fails. It doesn't, does it? 13 seconds right now for Rob. 13 seconds. He says not completely healthy, but getting their guts back. Who was exactly out on Sunday? Let's look at the injury list for the Buffalo Bills. So Doyle tore his ACL. That's tough. They had another offensive lineman out. Bates out. Benford, the cornerback's out. Poyer's out. I didn't know Ed Oliver was out in that game. I guess I didn't really even notice that. No, that's for today, isn't it? Yeah. So I thought Ed Oliver played. So, I mean, really the biggest injury that you had was Stevenson was on IR. That was back in August. Micah Hyde was put on IR. But other than that, Stephon Diggs was questionable, but he was still targeted 11 times for 74 yards. And Spencer Brown missed because of heat illness. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about your Buffalo Bills, Alpha Rob, to really say that this person is a huge loss, right? This person, Ryan Bates, how big a loss of him is he for you guys, the offensive tackle? Tommy Doyle, how big a loss is he? I mean, torn ACL, so obviously he was a starter. So offensive tackle, so I believe that was I think he's a right tackle, right? So I mean, obviously not as important as a left tackle, but still very important. The key guy that you guys need in there is Ed Oliver, which he's out. And basically you need Stephon Diggs, and I think you'll be just fine. I don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, guys. But that is going to be it for tonight, guys. It is Monday Night Football, so be sure to tune in. If you're not a part of a trash talk group, get into the description below and join a trash talk group. If you like to talk trash, join. If you like just talk NFL talk, there's some NFL talk in there as well. It's nice and chill. Fantasy football talk as well, the fantasy football discussion group. Everything is in the description, guys. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow. Combsy is back. This is wedding week for my man. So Thursday will be our last show of the week. And then I'll be in Chicago with my man Combsy. Going to Wrigley. Check out the game. I don't know who the Cubs are playing. It doesn't matter. I was so drunk. It was so much fun. My man's getting married to his beautiful bride, Michelle. Gonna be a grand old time. I can't wait. But see you guys tomorrow. Combsy should be here unless something happens. You know how shit happens. Party naked, bye. Party on, Wayne.